After 2 nights in Copenhagen, it's now time for my Flixbus to take me out of Denmark to Hamburg, Germany. The only problem is how to find the correct bus. I arrived about an hour early, and I was still only about 10 minutes from missing my bus. There was a small Flixbus sign where most of the Flixbuses parked at, but it was still pretty hectic. Reading reviews that this bus can be pretty late, I'm glad at least mine was on time. Also, the bike racks on Flixbuses are well secured, so I didn't worry about it the entire way. Here is how my last 2 days of traveling are going to go. My destination is Berlin, but right now I'm in Copenhagen. I'll be taking the Flixbus south through Denmark with a ferry ride in the middle and then onwards to Hamburg, Germany. There I will stay 1 night, and then bright and early tomorrow morning I'll be taking the Deutsche Bahn to Berlin. I could skip Hamburg altogether, but not knowing how taking a bus all the way to Berlin would go, I didn't want to risk it. Also, I needed transportation that allows bikes, which the Flixbus does, as well as the Deutsche Bahn, but only through intercity trains. So Hamburg would have to do. So I had a perfect view since I had reserved the front seat, and it looked like I had more legroom than the rest. And there was even a dashboard in front to put a few more things. So after about 2 hours of riding south through Denmark, we rode onto a 50-minute ferry that takes you from Denmark to Germany. I actually didn't know that the bus would be going onto a ferry until maybe the day before, so I was actually pretty excited to have this experience as well. So we received a 40-minute break to roam around the ferry, and the ferry was actually much bigger than I expected. And after looking around for a little bit, I had some time to eat some fish and chips, go to the bathroom, and then check out the views from the top deck. And since this was my first time coming onto a ferry boat on a vehicle, I was pretty paranoid that the boat would dock and the bus would leave without me realizing it, but that's definitely something that would happen to me. So I ended up rushing myself, even though I probably had time to look around a little bit more. So when I did come down, it was still pretty empty and people were still roaming around the ferry boat. But I did get to look around the bus a little bit more. There are spaces above the seats for more of your things, which is pretty cool for a bus. And they have outlets as well. But I did read reviews that you should not get a seat by the bathroom on the first level. So it's probably a good thing to always reserve your seat. My bus was also pretty empty to begin with, so it was pretty quiet the entire way to Hamburg. I definitely recommend reserving the front seat on the second level. It's only €3 extra, and you get a really nice view the entire way. So 6 hours later, I finally arrived in Hamburg. This is only for 1 night, so I was just expecting to get something to eat and then get some rest. But it turns out I came during their Pride Week, which is pretty crazy, so I actually ended up having a pretty fun night. It's now 7:30 the next morning, and I'm waiting for my last train before I can relax in one city for a while. So the nice thing about the German train operator DB or Deutsche Bahn is that there are bike spots and multiple carriages, so my bike was in the same carriage as where I was sitting. Again, my train was not too full and it was a super smooth 1.5 hour ride to Berlin. But while we were closing in on Berlin, I almost got off on the wrong Berlin station, not realizing until just before that there are multiple train stations in Berlin. So if you're taking the train to Berlin, remember that there are multiple train stations and you have to know which one you're going to. Now I'm in Berlin. It was a pretty good experience to do all of this at the very beginning of my journey around Europe. Throughout my journey, I became more efficient with dealing with my bike bags, handling my bike at stations, and knowing what can be left on my bike on the trains and the bus. But next time, I'll look for a more direct route. 4 trains, a bus, and staying in 3 extra cities before arriving in Berlin was a little bit too much. But now I'm here for an undetermined amount of time, so it's time to explore. I love history and I have always been fascinated with German history, so I know I'll be here for a while.